Hello, class. Today what we're doing is the Pokemon game. So we have the import statements. We just want to copy up there. You want to change your name to whatever. Last name, first letter, first name, underscore, Pokemon, or whatever game you're going to be doing. Make sure it says extends applet, implements mouse listener, and runnable. You'll need both of them. These are my picture declarations. These are my color declarations. These are my nonsense stuff. I have some mouse click variables that I'll need later on. This is my audio file. These are my two Pokemons. I need to make a third one. Here's one stat, which should not be in there. That was just a temporary one before I implemented the Pokemon. I have my two button variables. I resize the applet to 1080 by 720. I load the audio file. I no longer have this HP declared. I get the dimension sizes, which stores this into dim width, dim height. And I set the graphics. I set the values for my two buttons. I load the three pictures. I set up the clock. I start the clock. This is where my clock stuff would happen. Clock stuff. This is my timer. I don't need this. I don't need this either. And this starts my paint. So in my paint, what I have here is I clear the rectangle from the previously drawn image. I draw my background image. I set up my two fonts, which I should actually have these declared further up. So I'm going to copy this, delete this. And I want to put all my declarations up here. Actually, I just need to move the whole thing up there. I don't need the declarations of the fonts there. So let's take these two lines of code and move them all the way up top. And it should be able to compile. Yeah, that's going to be changed later. So I set the Pokemon. This is just for the background stuff. And the GUI. And so now here what I want to do is if fencin.getHP, because we're no longer using just standard variables, we're using the get and set functions. If it's greater than 0, do this. Otherwise, again, this has to be fencin.getHP. Ooh, this is not fencin, this is Luna, because this is the enemy. And then, yes. Okay, so this creates the bar for the enemy's life. And if they die, it pops up dead instead. This draws the background one. No, this draws the background one. This draws the green bar, red bar. This draws the text for the attacks, so right from here to here is a button, including that. And then from here to here is also the other button, including that. And I draw my two images. So the next one is, I have my two buttons that set up that all they do is say true, and the action actually happens up here, where I have my if statement. That's what that does. And that's pretty much all the code. So let's take a look at my Pokemon code. And this is the interesting stuff because it's going to be different. I set up my variables for my object. So that means this object, whatever I set it as, so Pokemon fencin equals new Pokemon with using the string and level. I have a object with one variable name that has all of these variables pointed to it. What I need you to do is, instead of making these public, which they are inherently by default, I need you to make them private variables. Which this means is you will no longer have access to them directly. You have to use functions in order to get to them outside of this. So inside this class for these variables, I can access them, but outside this class, so like in Lunamon, I can't access these variables. What I have to do is I have to use these things called getters and setters. So my get HP returns the HP by returning type int of my variable HP. My set HP says take in a parameter of type int called new HP and set new HP to be HP. So it resets the value. So basically, I'm just using two functions to handle the HP. Now the nice thing about this is I can put in here, well, I never want the HP to be less than 0. So I can say if new HP is less than 0, new HP equals 0. Else, do nothing. So I don't need that, so I can just have an if. So I can also say, if I wanted to, just to do some checks, so if new HP is greater than max HP, output error. Or better yet, new HP equals max HP. What this does here is this is basic error checking for your program, because you want to make sure that the user or the program doesn't do anything that breaks your game. So setting a strength of over 9,000, you want to make sure no one can do that. So the next thing we want to look at is the constructor. This is where you set up the character. All I did was I took in a string and a level, and from the level I created the stats. You might want to make a type as well. So to do that, you would copy this constructor, and then if you want to increase the amount of parameters, I would say do a int type, and the type would be a modifier. So I could say if type is 1, so if type equals 1, then do this. Seriously? There it is. So then what I'm going to also do is I'm going to copy this and say, well, if type equals 2, I want to take the HP. They don't have as much HP, but they have a lot more defense. Their speed is a lot slower, but their damage is also higher. And do that again. If type 3, we have tank, we have normal. And let's do a speedster, so we have even less HP, even less defense, a whole bunch of speed, and a whole bunch of damage. So you can go through and do this any way you want. You can have different amounts of parameters for your constructors if you want. Please realize when you use these constructors, the parameters have to match up. I can't do another string int. I would have to change it to be int string int, and if I wanted to use those parameters, make sure they're just of different type. So my tackle, what I have here is a random variable for chance of hit, chance of crit. I go through, if crit, do this, a chance of hit. If I hit, otherwise I miss. If the move is a counter, then make it so I lose damage. Otherwise, if it's a certain type, do more damage. Otherwise, actually be able to hit. If it's a ghost, I missed. And in here, if I crit, do double damage. And this is just my getters and setters. I let the level up function to be blank because you're going to be setting that. You need to change the toString because your stats may not include vitality or endurance. And the battle system you should also change. But this is a basic battle system if you needed it. And this is another getter. Sorry, this is a getter. And that's pretty much it. So what we want to do now is, now that we have all this stuff explained, we want to go through and finish the game. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and finish the project for you. I need 4 buttons. First thing is 4 actions for my character. I already have 2. So what I need to do is I need to go to box.com, and I want the button maker, which is under Advanced Computer Math under Fensomon. I'm going to right-click Download, left-click this, and now I have my button maker open up. I want to copy the top right attack. I'm going to go Edit, Replace, top right attack with bottom right attack. So bottom right attack, I'm going to replace all. And now I'm going to take these codes and put it into the program. So with this, I should be able to figure out the numbers right alone. So my right attack X is going to be 390. My Y value is going to be 550 plus 50 plus 50 to spacer, so it's going to be 650. And my width is going to be the same. My length is going to be the same. Then the buttons are the same type. I need to set up the button in the paint. We need to set up this third button, so I have that. I need to copy these two lines over. I'm just going to go above, and I'm going to say give bottle, and this is going to be much more damage. I need to set up parentheses. I don't need that anymore. I just need a default if I don't do anything. Set it defaults. Luna loses a whole bunch of damage because that just pretty much knocks her out. And my speed is going to be Fenson speed equals Fenson speed minus 10. And I need to make sure if Fenson.speed is less than 10, Fenson.speed equals 1. So less than 11, sorry. Else there we go. So I have my in parentheses. Also, this will now break when I compile this. Yes, because speed is now a private variable. So what I need to do is I need to go over to my Pokemon code. And because speed is private, I need a getter and setter. So I'm going to go to my HP one, my HP get and set. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it. Get speed, capital S. Return speed. Oops. Return speed. Speed equals new speed, capital S. Set speed. And if new speed is less than 0, less than 1, speed equals 1. And there we go. So now I have my getter and setter for that. Now I go back over to my Lunamon, and I need to do set speed. And in parentheses, this is actually kind of interesting. In order to get access to that variable, I need to do get speed and then add 1. So let's say compile again, find out where, I need parentheses for that. And again, get speed with function, and get speed with function, and set speed with, instead of equals, I just use the parenthesis value, which that's pretty interesting, to be honest. When you take a look at that, it just looks completely different. And again, Fenson.setSpeed, and instead of the equals sign, I put the parameter value inside the parentheses. And let's run it. So now I have no errors. So now I have give bottle working. And now let's check it out. So when I run the applet, ooh, I broke it. Why did it break? Let's take a look. I might be outside of my dimensions. In my init, I have 720 to be the width, and I start at 650. I go down to 700. I should still be okay. Oh, I probably did a G dot. And please realize I did GG for buffered graphics because I'm just lazy. I didn't want to type out buffered graphics every time, so I reset it to G instead of buffered graphics, so I need to change everything to be GG. And I still want my draw image to be G. So now when I compile and run this, it should work. And looks like Luna's life is already pretty much dead. And I need to move the text down. So the text for give bottle needs to be... Ooh. So bottom right attack instead of top right. Again, it just gives XY, so that should work. Top lefts. There we go. So now when I run this, let's see what happens. And if I click this, nothing happens. Grand. But that still works. So we have an error. So I need to go to my code. Bottom right X, bottom right Y, bottom right height. I don't know why that doesn't show up. Oh, because I have it in the wrong order. Because please realize what you need to do is you need to draw the text on top of the box, not the box on top of the text. And what I also need to do is I no longer am using HP, I'm using Luna's HP, but Luna is just a Pokemon level 1. So let's make her level 10. And now when I compile and run this, now when I change diaper, it instantly kills. So the one thing that I messed up on is, and I'm going to leave this for you guys to change, is this right here is not based off of my max HP. It's just get HP. So that could be way higher than 100, which it probably is. 10 times 10 would be 100. Why my attack is very high now, so it's definitely not scaled. So that's why I'm one-hit shotting her. So when I compile and run this, if I decrease my level to make it more interesting, this is probably the easier way to do it. I'll say I'm level 11. When I run the applet, my attack, if I give Binkies more and my give bottle does not work. But change diaper does. So we need to make sure that give bottle works. So let's go down here. And my give bottle sets the HP to be less my attack. So the question is, how come that doesn't work? Oh, because I didn't copy over the button stuff. So I copied over this, but I didn't copy over the actual button. The smart me. So paste that in and comment out the randomizing of the button and compile and run it. And now it should work. change diaper, give bottle, dead. So that's good. And the only thing I need to do now is have Luna have an attack. We need to have Luna attack every time we attack. So what we need to do here is inside Lunamon I have 3 booleans, each one saying I clicked a button. So whenever I click a button, Luna needs to click a button. So these 3, oops. These 3 are the ones I need. So we're going to go through here and inside my paint, inside my paint, on the top, what I need to do is I need to say if any one of these is true, this or this or this, I need to have Luna attack. So the easiest way to do this is the way I'm going to do it, which is not the way you should do it. You should have it where they do a random move. So you need to create a function inside Pokemon to do the counter. But what I'm going to do is the easy way is I'm going to take the Luna attack and change it so that fencing and this is going to be a random number, so int random attack equals, where's my, I have my random code down here. And we want the multiplier to be somewhere between 1 and 6, 1 and 5. And then I'm going to multiply this. Instead of multiplying by 2, I set my random attack. And I set this. And now when I compile and run this, I still need a if fencing.getHP is less than or equal to 0. I need to do a GG screen, basically. Just set color.black. Draw string. GG.fillRect. Let's do 0, 0, dim.width, and dim.height. I'm going to draw a string somewhere on this page where it says, you have been slain by a mere child. And I need the XY value. I'm just going to do, to make my life easy, 400, 400. And I need to set the color to red. And I need to set the font. I don't know where I set the font. Oh well. Probably set the font above. So now when I run this, let's see what happens. So if I give Binky, there we go, I've been slain by a mere child. I need to move this over just a little hair. Looks like Luna's actually really powerful in this game. So let's make that modifier a 3. And I need to move this over, so let's do 450. And now when I compile and run it, if I give Binky, I will die in 2 hits. Wow, that's pretty bad. If I run this and do give bottle, oh, it looks like we both got knocked out. So let's do this again. Give bottle. Looks like my HP is just terrible. Anyways, my game's not balanced, but now I get attacked back. I think what's happening is this needs to be set to go inside all of the buttons. So whenever I click a button, inside the button I do the damage instead. So these two lines of code I would just need to copy into all of my buttons, and then I could do a little counter thing for each one. That would probably be the best way to do it. And the only other thing is the splash screens, which I will cover in a different movie. But this should definitely get you started. You should have 4 working buttons with 4 counters, and I'll show you how to do a different character next time as well. Have a great one, and see you later.